Hello, I'm Wilamena. I am 14 years old and I have Tourette syndrome. Tourette syndrome tends to be a bit misunderstood and stigmatised because most of the time you hear the cases of Tourette's where it's labelled the swearing disease, which only 10% of people with Tourette's actually have swearing tics, so it's a very small minority and it's a lot more complex than people think it is. You have different motor tics, which are different movement tics, and vocal tics, which can be noises or words or sentences sometimes, it changes on the daily. So one day I'll have a tic which will then be gone the next day, or sometimes I'll get a new tic and it'll stay for 2 years, so it can be a bit unpredictable. My parents first noticed small facial tics when I was in around year 2 of primary school, but at the time it was just sort of twitches of the nose, and it wasn't really anything to sort of worry about. They were just like, oh, it's a little habit, nothing to worry about there. And then I started doing more little weird things, little movements, and we noticed that they always tend to get worse when I was tired or stressed or worried about something. And then as I just got older, they got worse and more prevalent until around year 5 of primary school, when literally overnight, I woke up the next morning with full body tics where I couldn't get out of bed, I couldn't walk on my own, I couldn't eat, I couldn't sleep hardly, I couldn't do anything, I couldn't go to school. So it was all overnight, and obviously lots of doctor's appointments working out what it was, because it was so sudden. They had to rule everything out first before they came to the diagnosis of Tourette syndrome. What I tend to do when I meet new people is tell them about it and explain to them that I have it, so that when they see me ticking, they go, oh, that's just part of her condition, that's tics, rather than they're not properly understanding or knowing, and then they're more likely to say, oh, what are you doing, or what's that funny face you're making, that kind of thing. But people tend to only make comments like that when they don't properly understand, which is why I definitely like to tell people about it and educate them properly. I've definitely had comments and things I've had in the past, people, because sometimes I have tics where I copy what someone said. So someone will say a word and my Tourette's decides to copy that. So some people will work that out and will try and get me to say things that obviously I don't want to say. So in class, someone will be whispering like swear words in my ear to try and get me to tick them, but luckily my school is very supportive and understanding, so if ever something like that were to happen, it wouldn't happen again. I have definitely had a very supportive family and friends, and I know that some people don't have that. I know people that have been kicked out of schools for simply having their Tourette syndrome, and the school not choosing to accept that and learn about it properly, so treating them differently.
It hasn't held you back at all though, has it?
No, definitely not. I go to a specialist music school for musicians where I have a government funded place to go and get taught music. I play the cello and percussion, and I'm part of the National Children's Orchestra of Great Britain, and when I play my instruments and music, my tics hardly bother me at all. So lots of my music teachers, they hardly know my Tourette's at all, because when I'm in a music lesson, my brain is so focused and I'm playing so much that my tics almost, it's like my brain doesn't quite have the space to be so focused to also tic. It's quite strange. So my teachers know that I have Tourette's and know all about it and know that sometimes it's really bad, but they don't actually see it because when I'm in my music lessons, I don't tic. So I definitely think a positive of having it is that I've definitely grown as a person. I'm quite a resilient person, I guess, from it. And also I discovered my love of music through it, because when I was younger, I played music. I didn't start playing it because of my Tourette's, I just played music. But as I got older, my Tourette's got worse. I noticed that when I played, I didn't tic, so I connected the dots and started playing more often, and this grew this love of music. And I think that if I didn't have Tourette's, I wouldn't necessarily have got where I am playing music. I think that Tourette's needs to stop being the joke, the comedian's joke, the butt of the jokes, because it isn't. It's a very complex condition that people stigmatise and don't understand properly. So yeah, I just want people to learn about it and stop making jokes about it.